Hey folks, welcome to episode 160 of the Phil Swallow podcast. This episode is entitled Walks and Talks. And basically it's a bit of a catch up from it's a bit of a catch up on what I covered from the last one, because it's like an ongoing thing. But it's following on from the open house. I've got a flickering light here. Stop it. Following on from the open house, which I found was brilliant. It's almost like it's kind of filled up my research pool, because there were a lot of things there that I knew of, and then actually going to visit like the actual archive rather than just the research room that I normally see, and just to get a bit closer to some of these different sites in the area. Really, really cool. So I love that open house. And next year, there are probably one or two things I would have liked to have done. Well, there were, not probably, Philip. There were one or two things that I would have done that I couldn't get tickets for. So I'm going to really scan the kind of list when it comes out next year, which I guess is late August, something like that. But I'll double check that as well. Stay tuned. And then I can make sure I get those kind of more, smaller visitor number events. I think that makes sense, to get to those first. So open house, really good. So obviously the title of the show is a bit of a kind of play on what I do anyway. I do the walk and talk videos, and this week and last week have both been really focused on the talk side, not necessarily the video, but doing talks, history talks. So not only was I doing them, but I was also supporting them. So I supported Roger Packham at the Wallingham WI, so I was providing my projector and laptop and stuff like that to show the story of Wallingham through postcards, which is brilliant. On Thursday, I delivered my own talk to a group in Hamsey Green, and I did that one on the Gardner family. I also, on the same day, I picked up the presentation which someone else was delivering at the Sanderstead group this Wednesday. And prior to that, on Tuesday, I had delivered my talk on Croydon waterworks history, to the Parkinson support group, Croydon Parkinson's support group, who are based, or the meet in Purley at the United Reformed Church. And that was cool. It's slightly different, I guess, in some ways, because the group have a dedicated purpose that's not history related, whereas most of the groups that I tend to interact with, to a degree, do have that focus. I mean, maybe the group in Hamsey Green isn't like that, but I try and make these almost audience neutral in terms of what I'm talking about. Try and just present a good story, and that's the key. That's what I try and do through filmmaking. That's what I try and do through talking. Now, what was really interesting is that, as well as providing that technical support, because I made what's turned out to be a brilliant and inspired purchase a few months ago, and I bought a projector. And this projector ended up being, sorry, I'm a bit croaky on the old throat today. This projector ended up being, well, it was brand new, it had never been used, and it's a proper kind of business level one. So what I mean by that is it's not been designed to show your TV on a screen in your living room. It's been designed to show kind of, details, data, and images and graphs and, that kind of business, schooly kind of education usage. Plus, it's got all the connectivity, and it's just been really, really good so far, and it's really paid for itself. So that's why I helped Roger last week. Also for the Sanderstead group this week. Now, I had a call on Monday to say, was I able to come along next Wednesday to the Bourne Society meeting, which that was in diary anyway, and would I be able to bring my laptop to do the kind of technical support again, which, I mean, I've been doing that, haven't I? So I've been doing that. So I decided to say, yes, I would do that. No problem. Just a couple of little technical things to query, because they have a smart TV connection, which I'm sure is just HDMI. Anyway, that I'm just waiting for a call just to confirm that. But bottom line is, yes, I was able to say, yes, I'll do that. And then yesterday morning, I got a phone call from Roger from the Bourne Society saying that the original speaker would not be able to make next Wednesday after all, the one I was going to do technical support for, could I step in and give a talk? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a talk on the Croydon Waterworks history. Roger has seen that. He was happy with that subject. I've actually done more work on it, more on the actual presentation of it in terms of slides and orientation. And I've just done a few little kind of features to it. It's going to look different to the first time I gave the talk. So hopefully that will land well. So that's going to be next Wednesday. Now, a couple of other things. Firstly, I bought the new GoPro Hero 12 camera. Excuse me, I sniffled. I bought the new GoPro Hero 12 because I was on the Hero 9 and I needed the upgrade. But I've not used it yet. I did a little kind of recording test. It's meant to be much better in low light and also managing bright and dark areas. So they call it HDR. So high dynamic range. So I plan to get out and use that. I might even just do a test vlog because I think it's important to do that just to make sure that you're kind of au fait with all the various options, because there's so many more now. So I might do a test shoot. I am writing an article for a magazine, Local Residents magazine, on a subject that I plan to film on. So what I could do there is use that research to say, actually, I'm good to go. I know the story now. I know the information. And because it's going to be a film, I might as well just go out and film it. It's local again. So I may do that. I may kind of kill two birds with one stone. So that's cool that I'll be able to get to do that. Now checking notes carefully. GoPro. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I put a video live 2 days ago, Hamsey Green to Farleigh Loop Walk. It's about a 3-mile walk. Planning to do these walks once per month, and I'm thoroughly enjoying doing them. So hopefully they're being enjoyed. People are enjoying watching them. I still get these wonderful messages back on, or comments back on YouTube. So while I was doing that, though, I did try out one of the new microphones I got with the Rode microphone set, the Wireless Pro, and I must admit, I should have thought it through and I should have done a test, because the sound wasn't where I would like it to be. What it meant is I had to jump in and do some processing of the sound, EQ kind of work, to try and make it sound better. But I might have a more critical ear for this than any or many of my viewers. But I do want to get this right. So now there might be a compromise. And that compromise might be that I've always tried to hide the mic. But with this one, I think because of the design of the microphone, and I want to give it a good go, I think it's got a good sound to it. It means I'm going to clip it and it's going to be on show. And this is behind the scenes information, but you'll see it when I do the next video with it. It has one of those little furry things that clips over the mic. And if you're thinking what you're talking about, well, look on the news. Whenever they're doing an outside broadcast, particularly a kind of windy, weathery one, they'll have a little furry thing. It's called a furry, typically. So this thing slots on, but it looks huge. It looks like there's a small animal. Anyway, I'm going to plan for that to be clipped to my shirt in the middle, and we'll see what happens. I think it will be functionally successful. I think it will kill the wind. But we'll see what it actually looks like. So I've got so many different, I've got a whole box of different kind of tapes and clips and furry covers and soft covers. And because most of my lav mic work is outdoors, I try and use these to just conceal the mic. But, sometimes, it doesn't always work like that. Plus, I think clipping it on means the setup's going to be that much quicker. Just going to clip it on and then hide the cable through the back of my shirt or something. I'm conscious of my hand hitting the screen every now and then. So I was happy with the video. The weather was gorgeous, very warm. I got stung by a stinging nettle. Not that has any bearing to anyone watching the video, unless there's some sympathy. And I was happy with what I produced, but the sound could have been better. So I've shared that with you. I did say when I first started doing these, I would give you some extra kind of behind the scenes type information for what goes into the life of giving these videos, producing these videos. So and in general, I mentioned briefly earlier, the engagement that I get is just tremendous. I've had people commenting directly. I get occasional emails. I had a message yesterday from someone whose father has recently discovered my channel, an ex-Croydonian, and we're going to meet up because they're going to an event that Addington Fire Station are running next week. Looking forward to that, an open day. And also, when I met Graham when I was doing the Kenley video the other week, one of my subscribers, and I was at the supporting Roger at Wallingham WI. A lady came over to me. She said, "You Phil that does the videos?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." She said, "Oh, my husband loves watching your stuff." So, little things like that are so appreciated by me. Appreciative, whatever the term is. I'm delighted that I receive them. So, it's just really cool, and that's why I encourage the general comments. People love the nostalgia trips. They love kind of, revisiting their earlier years. But it's also just good to have a conversation about these things. And often I'll put out a question, as you know, and the kind of crowdsource the answer. And then that gives me a follow-up. So really good fun. And I appreciate that. A couple of other things to mention. So, yes, it's Apple software update season. So if you're an Apple user, of which I am, been going through that. So we've got the new software for iOS, and I just upgraded the Macs yesterday, my laptop and desktop. All seems fine so far. They do extensive beta testing on these nowadays, so you're not going to cover every option or every combination of how people use the software and the operating systems, but I think often now they're iterations, they're evolutions, they're not revolutions. But it's still good to just get something new. I always like that. I've always liked getting new tech stuff, which is why I keep buying gear. So that was that. I have reserved the new iPhone because I've got this. It's called an iPhone upgrade program where you almost lease the phone. Really, you pay a monthly amount. It's designed to be a 20-month agreement or something, and if you stayed on that, you would just buy the phone after 20 months. But after 12 months, you can basically return it and get the latest model. And I'll be honest, I mean, again, yes, I like the new gear. I like the gadgets. I like what Apple provides. But because I use my iPhone to supplement what I do with the GoPro or the 360 camera that I typically use for my vlogs, it gives me an opportunity to always be at the kind of leading edge of what's available in mobile phone technology. That's my excuse. But, it's amazing just how even from the 13 to the 14, I felt the video improved substantially, particularly the Zoom video. And they've done some more work on this Zoom for this model. So I think we're going to see some much better or much more improved quality of image. So I look forward to testing that out. But it was crazy. When I ordered it, I went straight in on the day, which was Friday before last. And I registered it, and it said to me Friday the 22nd, which was a week ago today. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm recording this on the 29th. Yes, it said, right, it's available, which is on that first day. And it actually gave me a drop down of the time to book the slot. And I was offered 10, 10:15, 10:30. And I knew that Sue was going to be in Bromley around about that time. And I thought, well, I'll just nip out to the calendar app, see when she was going to be there and go back again. It was seconds. Went out, went back, selected it. It said, your iPhone will arrive between the 27th of September and the 2nd of October. So now I don't even know whether, I'll never know, if I was able to press it without referring to my calendar, would I have got that slot? It's not, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. We are now 29th, as I mentioned, and I've seen nothing from Apple to say that my phone is available. I believe what they're going to do is they know the spec that I want. I think they're going to bring it down to Bromley where I want to go and collect it. And they'll invite me to pick a convenient time to go in and collect it and swap over the phones. They take my current one as a kind of trade-in. So, looking forward to that. I've got the case. I had the case within 2 days of ordering it. I just haven't got the phone. So, and why would you buy another case? Well, they normally ask, they make a difference so that they help the industry who make cases. But this one, I won't show it on camera because you won't really see, but it's just got bits off of it. And I don't know if that's general wear and tear. I have dropped it a couple of times, but not dropping it from a height and not really dropping it outdoors. So it was a kind of silicone thing. They've got this new material called fine woven because they want to get away from using leather. So we'll see what that looks like in reality and in use. So two other final things as I rattle through. And I always say, I think I rattle through these things, but it keeps it moving, doesn't it? I went to see Fairfield Halls at the Ashcroft Theatre on Sunday, the Illegal Eagles. And what a band they are. They're UK based in sort of Essex, and one's from Grimsby. But as a musician and as a guitarist who used to both play and sing Eagles songs many years ago, I think I was probably more able to appreciate just how good they were. Really, really good together. The vocals were excellent. They opened with a kind of a cappella harmony piece, and that was spot on. And then the actual show was really good. There was some good humour between the band members and themselves and the band members and the audience. And yeah, I was knocked out, actually. Really, really impressed. There's a lot of these tribute bands now. There's almost one for every major artist. And, it's made me think, well, maybe they're pretty good, so maybe I should try out some others. There's a Dire Straits one called Money for Nothing, but I'll see. I mean, most of them have got content online or they sell their own albums. One thing I noticed with the Illegal Eagles is that they've got a cover album of other tracks from around about that era. So there'll be Doobie Brothers and some of the stuff going back even further, 70s stuff. So, I suppose the guys are all in their sort of, 30s, maybe 40. And actually they said one thing that people always ask us is, have any of you ever met any of the Eagles? And they said, well, the answer is no. Well, actually, there was one exception. The drummer, whose name escapes me, he played on Top of the Pops years ago with Glenn Fry, who's now sadly no longer with us. So that was one connection. But anyway, Illegal Eagles. If you're out somewhere visiting a place and they happen to be on, go for it, get a ticket. I think they may have been in Buxton when we were in the Peak District last year. Or I've got that wrong. But it was one of those tribute bands anyway, so maybe we should have looked out for it at that time. So that's broadly it. I'm off to do or complete a magazine article for this Residents Association, which I mentioned earlier. So this is about a World War II related site that I discovered not far from here. And that's what's going to make into that video that I'm going to do about the same subject. So, thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for supporting what I do. The subscription numbers have gone up quite a lot in the last day or two, which is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for generally providing support, friendship, and long may it continue. So look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you, and you may see me, depending on how you consume the podcast, in the next edition of the show. Take care.